examples. This is the presentation page that we were talking through, pointing out that it's HTML5 and doesn't require plugins, works on any of the devices. I have two examples that I was showing. One of those was created in Publisher3D, and it's simply the model. In this case, you have a model here on the page, and I can rotate it. I can do all this 3D manipulation, and there's no plugins required or anything. You can also, in this example, since it's an on-time catalog, we've activated the part selection or the shopping cart features of Share3D. And when those are activated, you can select parts either using the 3D scene or from the parts list, and then add those to the cart. As you notice, I selected the parts, and this showed up, showing me what I selected. It's asking for the quantity, and we can then add that to our cart. And as mentioned earlier, when this information shows up, this price and the inventory and any other information really can be is determined by an external database if you like to hook it up that way. So that can be done. And then when you're ready to review your cart, your customer can review the cart and the listing there, and then proceed to checkout where they can place a purchase order or quote request. And then in this example, and that's a more complicated example of a web publishing feature. It may be that you just want to publish, your model, get it online. The next example is an instruction set, and it allows you to. It's using Pages3D, so it's a full multi-page document. Now, this isn't quite available yet, as I mentioned earlier. This will be part of our 2015 release, so you're kind of getting a sneak preview here. But the entire published document goes online, and again, it's HTML5. It only requires HTML5 to run, so any of the modern browsers, desktops, mobiles, will be able to view this. And as you can see, it's got 5 pages in this example, and I can click through these different pages and view them just as I would any other document. In this example, this page here is set up for step-by-step instructions. So if you'll notice how an interactive document works, it has the text and everything here, but this is also some dynamic text on this page. So as I go through my interactive instructions, I get changes to the text down here that match up with the step of the process that I'm going through. So for something like assembly instructions, this is a really strong option because it allows you to include things more than just the 3D into your packets for the shop floor, for example. Other things where this plays out really well would be service instructions, full parts catalogs where, on the page before we had a shopping cart based on 3D, but entire catalogs can be created and set up in the format that you like. The next page kind of shows more of a technical ability, but you can see here it has a clickable parts list on the page, and as I click through here, it will highlight here, and we also get an isolated view. So that's kind of a way to set up that page. And with the Pages3D product, the sky's the limit on how you want to set up your document. It's a document authoring tool. You can, insert pages just like in PowerPoint or something, and then publish that. So that's kind of the overview of more of the end result, where you're going to head with Share3D. What I'd like to do now, if I get back to my presentation, is talk a little bit about how you create these. And I'm not going to go into this very long, because we have other webinars for Publisher3D and another one coming soon for Pages3D, where it gets into a lot more detail on this. But it is important to realize that to get to Share3D, you're going to use Publisher3D or Pages3D to create that content. And you'll use Publisher3D to create your illustration sets, or you'll use Pages3D to create a full online ready document. If I go over to another section here, this is showing the same examples, but this is in the content creation side here. So if you'll notice, we're in Publisher3D, and this is where you would go and create the content, where you would work to create your illustrations down below, your exploded views, your parts list, anything that you want to present online, you would create in this software. And when you're ready to publish, there's a couple ways to publish to the 3D, and we'll go over those in just a minute. Let's see, and I also was going to show you in Pages. It's kind of a similar product, but it's based on creating a multi-page document. So you'll see here that we have the same document that ends up online, but we've created that in the software here. And it's very simple to use. You can just click and edit information, and then when you're ready, then you can publish that. If you're going to publish from the product, then in this case, you can go to Publish, and then there's some options for going straight to Share3D. If I click this, it'll allow you to log into your Share3D account, and then you can just publish it direct from the product. Another option for publishing is to save off an intermediate file and then publish that on the website. We'll go into a little more detail on that in the next area there. So that's how you would create information that goes to Share3D. As part of the information I should share here too is that both Publisher3D and Pages3D can import common CAD formats like Solid Edge, SolidWorks, Inventor, Pro-E, Step, IGES, DWF, and others too. And then that, you bring your 3D in directly, and then you create your content that goes to Share3D. To publish to Share3D, we went over one where you can do it directly from the product. Another option is to save off a file from either one of the products and then upload it. Let's see, upload it here. So I guess the first step that you would have on working with Share3D would be to create an account. So you would go to the website, www.share3d.com, and then you would create an account. And it's real simple. You just put in the name, company, and your email and password. And once you hit create an account, you'll receive a couple emails. One that's just a welcome email that points to some help information. And then another is a confirmation email. So you'll need to go and click the confirmation to verify that your email is good. And then you'll be able to sign in. And when you sign in for the first time, you'll go to a page that looks a lot like this. You won't have any content, and it'll kind of work to guide you into the next steps of using Share3D. So you can review this. These are all links to help that are all bled through or integrated into the site. These question marks will go to our help site and help you understand what favorites are, examples, Upload3D, for example. And if you're wanting to upload to the site from a file that you created, either in Publisher3D or Pages3D, you can use the Upload3D button. And from here, you can add files, and these will be the files that you saved off from Publisher3D or Pages3D. Now, it's important to realize that these are not the same files. It's not just the QSM file that's created with Publisher3D or the QSD file with Pages3D. It's currently a QSXML file coming out of Publisher3D. That extension will probably change in the next month when we release the Pages3D version. But the important thing to realize is that it's a Share3D specific file, and that's what needs to be uploaded here. Otherwise, you get a can't process, and it'll tell you more about how to fix that. So once you're published up to it, then you'll be able to open up the file that you published, and this is how it would look inside once you've uploaded it and then can work with it. And initially, it is not shared. It's part of, you're the only one that can view it logging into your account. But if you want to share it, you can bring up the Share3D panel and choose how. One way is to privately share that. We'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. And another is to publicly share that. So you can publish this URL. And as soon as I click this button, you'll see that it's made public. Now, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add it to a repository where the public can find it or anything like that. It just simply sets it up so that you can have a share link, and you can just copy and paste this, and then that person, then anybody that has that link can log in. They don't have to log in. They can click the link and view your content. There's other things you can do as far as how you want to share it. You can add a password. You can immediately share it to social media. With the right plans, you can embed the code and custom brand what it looks like. So that's as simple as it is for sharing it. Most people will just take this link and copy it and paste it into an email or something and work from there. So that's the basics on sharing it. Yeah, okay, so another facet of the Share3D service is the ability to collaborate. And by collaboration, one way for doing that is to add comments and work with your team to, when you add comments using Share3D, this would be in a privately shared session, and those people that are in that group will all receive the comments and can use the markup tools online for that. An example of that would be on this page when we publicly shared it. We could invite people specifically by emails to privately participate in this session. If they do that, then they will have the ability to submit comments over here too. So going back real, all you do is type in an email address, and they will receive an email saying, hey, somebody has shared a Share3D file with you. And then if you go and create an account and sign in, you'll be able to see this specific content and then collaborate on it. And by collaboration, that's where you can submit comments. So you can go through and you have a 3D view to work with. And if anytime you need to make a comment, you can click new comment, type in and say, this is interesting. But it's not just a textual comment that goes along. You're actually capturing this 3D view, and you can also apply some simple markups to this too. So if I wanted to point out something, I can add a markup to that. I'm not sure why it's not showing my markups. That's interesting. But you can add a markup to that and then submit, and then the comment will go out to everybody that's involved in that link and that's involved in that private session, and they'll be able to share that as well. So they'll be able to view the comment that you make. They can enter their own feedback as well. Another category for us that falls under collaboration is setting up, I guess, the catalogs and those kind of things. When we talk about collaboration on Share3D, we're usually referring to back and forth feedback. So, you know, in the team collaboration aspect, you can share it and generate commenting. If you're creating a catalog, you can share that, and the people that are on the other side of the catalog can submit carts back to you by selecting parts. So it's more of a feedback than collaboration all the time when we talk about how you can leverage that. And that's something that's specific to the cloud. You can't really do that with a PDF or a printed document because they're so static. But you can, with the cloud application, it can tie the two participants together. Okay, let's see. Got a couple more slides here in this webinar, and then we'll close up with some questions. You might be wondering how you manage this, and that's really easy. If you've only uploaded one file, that's the file that you have there. And then part of managing it is what we've already covered, sharing it, and whether you were to share that publicly or share that privately, that's part of the management of it. You can also set up, you can also manage your files. So if I go to, let's see, this final tab here, you'll see that this site, this account has, you know, multiple uploads. And so how those are all managed once you have, you know, more than a few up, is it has a full desktop here that allows you to, create favorites. To create a favorite, I can just click the star next to one of these guys, and it'll add that to here, so it's very easy to find this one next time. You can also search. So if I wanted to search on instructions, for example, I find all of the different thoughts that have to do with instructions. So there's some things to work with. And then you can go through and, sort by different things. You can say, I only want to see the ones that are owned by me, or the ones that are shared with me, the ones that I've made public. That would be from that public sharing that we showed earlier, or the ones that I've enabled my cart on that would have the shopping cart set up. So that's kind of how you can manage those as far as searching and finding the specific documents that you're wanting to work with. You'll also notice that down here, it shows you there's 25 comments in this collaboration and 2 people that are privately shared with. And it also labels it if it's publicly shared or not. So you can kind of control your information from this from the front page here. And then just some other highlights of the Share3D system. As we mentioned earlier, you can connect your data. There's a simple application for doing that. It uses XML to match parts with extra data that might not be available when you create the document, but you can bring it in and connect that to ERP data, PLM, that kind of data. Pricing, inventory come to mind, different descriptions maybe for things too. This is more a feature of the authoring software, but it applies here as well because you can update your documents as the designs change, which is a high-level, it's a powerful capability, so that you can update your documents and if your 3D CAD changes and quickly get those back online and replacing the ones that you previously had. We also have native iOS apps, mostly applicable for the team collaboration. They're fully capable of doing collaborative activities like creating comments, adding the markups and those kind of things too, and those can be downloaded from the Apple Store. And email in the loop is another important collaboration capability. Anytime a comment is added into to a private session, then email is sent out to those participants, and then you can just reply to that email to add a comment. So you don't have to always log into the Share3D service in order to participate in the collaboration, and some people may never do that. They just reply to the emails and it ends up in that same loop of information. So just taking a step back again, today we've talked mostly about the Share3D for doing the technical publishing in the cloud, for web publishing and for team collaboration. This is supported, as we went through, by our authoring products, Publisher 3D for making illustrations and Pages 3D for making documents. And we have a Document 3D suite that includes all of these. So all of our products work together. Share3D is a specifically capability for doing the web publishing. As we mentioned earlier in the presentation, you can do print and you can do PDF as well. So it really just depends on how you want to publish, but we cover all the bases and we cover all the different browsers and the different devices, and however that you want to get information from 3D to a solution that can be viewed by other people. I think that's my last slide. It is, and hopefully today, minus the little early error with not showing the screen, we were able to get through the very basics of Share3D and how you might use that. So if you have any questions, feel free to add those into the question field there, and I'll address those as I can. And if we don't, then I appreciate your participation. Thanks for coming to the webinar, and make sure to catch us on October 1st. We're going to do one on Pages 3D, and that'll cover print PDF and web publishing for multi-page documents.